I started this brand because the clothes that I wanted to make didn't exist.
I feel like that's the Cliff Notes version of this story. What are the details?
Well, the clothes that I wanted to wear didn't exist. Basically, like I don't understand why clothes were genderless or gendered.
Telfar Clemens was born in Queens, New York, to parents who had immigrated from Liberia. When he was 5, his family moved back to Liberia, returning again to the U.S. after the outbreak of the Second Liberian Civil War. Clemens returned to New York in 2002 to pursue his modeling career. While in New York, Telfar launched his first clothing line. He was a self-taught designer, and his early designs were made by deconstructing vintage clothing. In 2005, he officially launched his eponymous brand, Telfar. Though it may seem like Telfar sprung up out of nowhere, the success of the brand is a long time in the making. A quote from the Telfar official website sums up the brand the best. Become a queer Liberian-American 18-year-old, travel back to 2004 and establish a 100% unisex fashion line in New York City. Try to make clothes that do not exist on the market, just as you don't exist in the world. I think this quote is important because it really gives us from the jump the sort of lens that Telfar has been working and designing from. The Telfar brand prides itself on genderless clothing and accessories. Though multiple designer brands are patronized by queer consumers of color, Telfar is one of the few to actually cater to that audience as well as design from that perspective. It's also extremely rare for a luxury brand to market directly to Black people, a consumer base often viewed as devaluing to a brand. From the beginning, Telfar has included models of all races and genders in its fashion shows. Aside from the ubiquitous bags, Telfar sells earrings, tops, hats, belts, and numerous other apparel items and accessories. They regularly update the stock and release new colors of items on their website. While you're looking for your latest Telfar bag or doing just regular online shopping, it's best to be protected on the internet. A lot of us do our online shopping while we're out in public trying to kill time, which probably means connecting to public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi isn't always safe, but with Atlas VPN, you can be protected. This is more than just a VPN. It blocks all the malicious links, ads, and trackers. Once you get connected to Atlas VPN server, your device gets a whole new IP and DNS address. Your data is encrypted, and your virtual location is hidden so that you can't be tracked on the internet. Atlas VPN actually has this really cool feature called a data breach tracker where you'll be notified if your email address is part of any data breaches or internet scams. Right now, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. It means you can get a 3-year subscription for just $1.83 a month, plus 3 months free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Aside from being protected online, Atlas VPN can help you get some of the best deals for online shopping, hotels, airlines, and subscription services like Netflix and Spotify. Speaking of streaming, I can now watch Netflix shows from anywhere in the world. All I have to do is change my location to a different country, and now I have access to their country's Netflix. Netflix UK has some of my favorite classic shows, and it's always cool to find new shows that I wouldn't have been able to see otherwise. Like I said, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. You can get your subscription for just $1.83 a month and 3 free months with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you so much, Atlas VPN, for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to talking about Telfar. In 2014, the Telfar shopping bag was released. The vegan leather bag is available in sizes small, medium, and large. The dimensions were modeled after Bloomingdale's shopping bag, a reference to Telfar's New York roots. The bag debuted as part of that year's autumn-winter collection. The monochrome bag features the Telfar logo embossed front and center and is available in a wide range of colors. Its simple design, popularity, and relative affordability earned the bag the nickname the Bushwick Birkin. It became a staple in Brooklyn, especially among the younger Black, fashion-conscious population. The Telfar shopping bag was unique for its genderless design, affordable price, and the fact that it came from one of the few luxury brands that is queer and Black-owned. In 2017, Telfar had the unique opportunity to redesign White Castle's uniforms. The uniforms were followed by a capsule collection Clemens has made as an homage to New York City. Growing up, White Castle was a staple for Telfar, and he wanted to do the brand justice and honor their 95th anniversary. In his neighborhood, White Castle had been the only restaurant open after midnight. Telfar's creative director, Babek Radboy, said that White Castle was one of the few brands that had supported them before fame. White Castle often served their team backstage during fashion shows and was one of the few brands willing to sponsor Telfar in their early days. In 2016, Telfar threw the after party for their spring-summer show at the Times Square location of White Castle. Aside from honoring the brand, Telfar wanted to create uniforms that the White Castle employees would actually want to wear. He revamped the design of their original polo uniform shirt and altered it to have what he called a more sailor-like collar. The new uniforms have a less rigid, more streetwear-inspired look to them. The White Castle logo is printed on the chest and on the back of the shirt. It was inspired by Telfar's goal of making fashion horizontal. Rather than entertaining the idea of elevating or devaluing brands, Telfar sought to have them be seen on an even playing field. In his world, there need not be a divide between designer clothing and fast food uniforms. Those two items can exist in the same space, and in this case, even be the same garment. In 2017, Telfar Clemens also won the CFDA and Vogue Fashion Fund award. He used the $400,000 reward from the fund to improve the design of the Telfar shopping bag and then re-release it. Telfar's goal with the bag was to make them practical and accessible, but still fashionable. The redesign proved a great move for Telfar as it helped increase the bag's popularity. Originally, the bags were mostly popular with New York City's Black and queer communities. Soon, the shopping bag also increased in popularity with celebrities and was sported by the likes of Solange, Tinashe, and A$AP Ferg. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was seen wearing a Telfar bag, and coincidentally, she represents the same district that Telfar is from. The shopping bags were designed and marketed with customers' pockets in mind. Prices range from around $150 for the small size to $250 for the large. New shopping bag colors were released on the site on the first Friday of every month so that it wouldn't overlap with customers' rent payments. Social media proved a perfect marketing tool for Telfar. Images of celebrities and influencers wearing Telfar bags circulated around the internet. Twitter memes also spread the word about the brand in a humorous yet effective way.
What you just got in the mail? A Telfeezy, bitch, a Telfeezy, easy but breezy. I do these dirty bum bitches real greasy.
It was a much more grassroots and accessible approach to marketing than was common for other luxury brands. This helps Telfar perfectly toe the line between attainability and still having that air of luxury fashion. Many people's first interactions with Telfar bags were through social media, and after seeing all of the online buzz about the bag, they decided to purchase one for themselves. The Telfar Instagram page posts pictures of its customers wearing the bag too. Telfar said that accessibility is part of the brand's DNA, and marketing on social media definitely fits that image. When asked what he envisioned Telfar to be, he actually said he wanted his brand to be like Michael Kors, but on purpose, and I find that kind of funny. By 2019, the Telfar shopping bag was considered one of the decade's it bags. Unlike other luxury brands, the Telfar brand thrived on the fact that customers could affordably get their hands on a bag. This also proved that, contrary to the belief of most brands, attainability didn't at all affect the bag's desirability. Not only was the Telfar shopping bag affordable, it was also versatile with its solid color and minimal design. Because of this, the Telfar bag is perfect for everyday use, which only increases its visibility and makes it a smart buy for the price.
It's vegan leather. I carry it everywhere. I bring it to the studio. It has never failed me. It happens to also, because y'all know I love fashion, it is the so-called new it bag.
The Telfar shopping bag quickly became the best-selling item for the brand. It took Telfar from having yearly sales of around $100,000 to over $1.6 million. In 2019, Telfar was nominated for Accessory Designer of the Year, of course in part due to the popularity of the shopping bags. Surprisingly, Telfar lost to the Row, a brand owned by the Olsen twins. The Row, it seemed, was a brand as opposite from Telfar as one could get. Affordability clearly wasn't a priority for the Row, as their bags ranged from around $1,200 to $45,000. In addition, the Row, of course, is white-owned. The CFDA, which stands for Council of Fashion Designers of America, votes on the recipients of the Accessory of the Year award. All of the winning designers of the 2019 Accessory of the Year award were white. This situation, to me, is representative of Telfar's weird place in the fashion world. Telfar is, for all intents and purposes, a luxury brand, but its affordability has raised questions on that front. In a sense, Telfar forces a re-examination of the criteria for being a luxury brand. For many, luxury is synonymous with expensive and exclusive, but Telfar complicates this by showing that a brand being more accessible doesn't make it any less luxury. Typically, we tend to consider items luxury based on how expensive they are, rather than considering the quality of the item. Telfar subverts this by making the number of people who own an item irrelevant in the conversation of whether it should be considered luxury. When talking about the shopping bag, Telfar himself brought up a point that I hadn't really thought about before. He said, handbags in particular are this thing that is supposed to be an economic status indicator. Like, I'm 25 or 30 or 40 and I'm doing okay. We have a status bag that has nothing to do with that. I never really thought about the fact that unlike most brands, Telfar is, I guess you could say, statusless. Owning a Telfar doesn't indicate socioeconomic status in the way that many other bags do. In addition, Telfar bags seem to be ageless as well. For example, when girls are younger, they may tend to buy a bag from Coach or Michael Kors and then might elevate to a Louis bag as they get more money. That's not at all to say that adults don't carry Coach or Michael Kors bags, because they definitely do, but generally speaking, they're more associated with a younger demographic and are considered to be a quote-unquote entry-level or starter purse. Despite their cheaper price point, Telfar seems to be absent from that conversation altogether. I think this is because price isn't necessarily at the forefront when it comes to Telfar. Yes, Telfar bags are known for their lower price, but it indicates nothing about the quality or status of the bag, but is just a means to an end to make sure that as many people as possible can acquire one. It's also common to see people of various ages carrying a Telfar bag, and you don't hear people call it immature or a starter purse in the way that people refer to a lot of other brands. The Telfar shopping bag only became more popular in 2020. Due to the social wave brought on by BLM protests, many Americans vowed to support more black businesses. This led to the Buy Black boom, a heightened increase in profits for multiple black businesses due to increased support. Telfar is one of the brands that benefited from the Buy Black boom. The fact that the brand had been inclusive for well over a decade helped it stand apart from brands that performed inclusivity rather than ones that truly practiced it. In addition, due in part to the pandemic, emphasis was placed on purchasing more affordable, versatile items rather than spending unnecessary money on items that only made large corporations more money and didn't necessarily get a lot of use or wear time from the consumer. Despite the price of Telfar bags being well below the price of other designer brands, many still felt that the price was steep for a purse. This debate sparked a conversation in the black community around a lack of support for black designers when many are willing to pay even more for the work of a white designer. For comparison, the price of a similar sized Coach bag ranges between $300 and $450, while some sell for over $1,000. Michael Kors purses on average range between $200 and $550. Luxury brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Gucci charge far more for their purses, with bags priced at $1,000 being on the lower end for their collections. One could of course argue that the higher prices for these brands are justified as they're more established and recognizable and have a higher quality of construction. Still, it ignores the question as to how more black designers will ever be at the helm of luxury brands if their own community is reluctant to support them, even at a cheaper price point. It also ignores the fact that luxury brands including Gucci, Chanel, and Prada all have histories of mistreating customers and employees of color, as well as appropriating and misusing black imagery in designs and on the runway.
We've been in Gucci for about an hour, right? And we in Gucci in the VIP.
We've been in Gucci for like 2 hours.
Right? Since we came in here, having nobody came and showed us no courtesy, no amenities, no nothing. Period. Not even a drink of water. Asked to speak to a manager. Send me a black guy out here that start telling me some bullshit. So they got the black guy racial profiling on black people. Asked to speak to a manager bigger than him. Everybody disappeared. Ain't nobody come out yet. I still ain't getting no sparkling water. I still ain't getting no champagne. I still ain't getting nothing.
These conversations didn't at all mean that people weren't buying Telfar bags. Over the past few years, the bag had become extremely popular and remains so. In fact, a July 2020 restock of the shopping bag crashed the Telfar website due to web traffic. Many customers were unable to get their hands on a Telfar bag, and resellers sold shopping bags for up to $700 on sites like eBay. In a show of solidarity, many consumers vowed not to buy Telfar bags from resellers so that any money spent on the bag would go directly to Telfar. Telfar himself pointed out the irony in the situation, that a bag intended to be affordable and accessible had become hard to get because of those very factors. Many online criticized Telfar for running out of the shopping bags and accused him of unprofessionalism for having a low stock to begin with.
So what is that balance?
We do make enough bags, but there's just increasingly more people that want, kind of to get a bag. And there's always more people than the bags that we make. So it's like each time we drop thousands of bags each time that we drop a bag.
I feel that this ignores the fact that Telfar has a much smaller facility than the majority of brands that we typically buy from. When other designer items sell out, people don't get mad at the brand for not having enough. Antoine Gregory, the founder of Black Fashion Fair, said people felt so entitled when it came to Telfar, as if they were doing him a favor. That's never the case for any of his white counterparts. To try and meet the demand for the bags, Telfar implemented the Bag Security Program. It was a 24-hour event that allowed those who wanted to customize and pre-order their own Telfar shopping bag, and it was guaranteed to arrive between mid-December and mid-January. Though it was a while to wait, the program showed a willingness to serve customers and allow them to participate in the brand rather than denying them just to maintain an air of exclusivity. Telfar said he wanted owning the bag to symbolize community rather than owning something that others don't. Back in January of 2020, a collaboration between Gap and Telfar was announced. The collaboration would be a move further into the mainstream, which has been Telfar's mission all along. As with the shopping bag, his goal was to make his Gap collection as affordable as possible. He said, "If you look at the first 2 seasons Telfar and I did together, it is Gap." The Gap customer was supposed to be everybody, literally anybody. It's like we're stuck in this luxury market when what inspires us is being on regular people and that kind of ubiquity and accessibility. Unfortunately, the pandemic derailed plans for the collaboration. Interestingly though, Kanye West renewed his Gap contract with Yeezy around the same time. Gap informed Telfar that their collaboration would be pushed back to 2021, but by the summer of 2020, it was canceled altogether. A story came out stating that Gap hadn't paid the Telfar brand for work done prior to the cancellation. Gap claimed they offered Telfar 25% of the original design fee to compensate them for their work, and maintained this again in a public statement regarding the canceled collaboration. In 2020, Telfar won the CFDA Accessories Designer of the Year award. It only further solidified the bag's status as one of the year's hottest accessories. He was one of 3 Black designers to win that year, including Kirby Jean Raymond and Christopher John Rogers. In the fall of 2020, Telfar and UGG announced a collaboration which would come the following year. Telfar announced the collaboration first through a trailer on the brand's Instagram page. A president at UGG's parent company said, "At UGG, we believe in the same thing and that fashion can be real, democratic, and aspirational all at the same time. This collection will be the perfect expression of our shared beliefs." The collaboration featured a Telfar shopping bag made of the classic UGG suede and trimmed with faux fur. The collaboration also had Telfar branded UGG boots, bathrobes, pants, and logo tees. Customers could pre-order items to arrive in the spring of 2021. Currently, UGG and Telfar have dropped 3 separate collaborations together. As a further sign of the popularity of the Telfar shopping bag in 2020, Oprah actually listed it as one of her favorite things of that year. Telfar reunited again with White Castle in 2021 in order to design uniforms for their 100th anniversary. He designed 4 different uniforms and even included a do-rag, the first official hair accessory part of the White Castle uniform. The slogan 100 years and counting was emblazoned on some of the uniform designs, and the collection was modeled by White Castle employees in an editorial photo shoot. I think it was a good move to have actual White Castle employees model the clothing, and I think it fits really well with the brand ethos of Telfar, which is kind of representing like those real people who are actually on the ground working and wearing the clothes. I really like that he didn't hire actual models for this. Telfar's impact is undeniable. Beyoncé just name-checked them on her album Renaissance, implying that she now preferred the Bushwick Birkin over its original. She's also been spotted wearing her white Telfar out and about. The Telfar shopping bag has become a symbol of celebration and solidarity in the Black community. Aside from the bag, the Telfar brand in its entirety has helped break down barriers in fashion. Multiple up-and-coming Black designers have said that they felt Telfar was one of the few companies they could work for and feel included and respected. When Telfar won the CFDA award, it showed other Black designers that the same was possible for them. Shelby Ivy Christie, an ex-Vogue staffer, pointed out that Telfar's CFDA win also represented a shift in Black designers becoming more visible instead of being relegated to working behind the scenes. The brand has expertly proven the importance of visibility and inclusivity in fashion. In addition, it also proves the strength of Black buying power and that when a community feels represented by a brand, they'll support it tenfold. One of the most important things Telfar has done is redefine the idea of a luxury brand. Telfar proves the luxury brand being affordable and accessible doesn't make it any less desirable or any less luxury. Telfar includes people of color and queer people in luxury, and the brand benefits from creating community around marginalized identities rather than aiming to exclude them. I do think that Telfar opens an interesting conversation about whether a lot of black people don't buy black because they feel that the brands are less legitimate, or simply because oftentimes the opportunity isn't even there. Though Telfar doesn't have the extensive history of brands like Gucci, Balenciaga, or Chanel, it's still an established and respected brand, especially compared to much smaller black-owned businesses. I think that this could also beg the question, at what point do most of us deem a black business established enough to buy from? I've seen and heard for myself that a lot of us want everyone to support black business, but we don't support our own friends and family when they start a business, no matter how professional and how ethical it is. And this support doesn't even always have to come in the form of buying their actual products. It could be as simple as just spreading the word or sharing a post on social media. This sort of support has shown time and again, even with Telfar itself, that it really helps smaller businesses to grow. And just a quick reminder that time is running out, so make sure to click the link in the description to start your Atlas VPN subscription. Remember, you get 3 months free with a 30-day back guarantee and a 3-year subscription for just $1.83 a month. Don't miss out, go ahead and sign up today. Down in the comments, feel free to let me know what you think about any of these ideas that I just brought up. Where do you see Telfar's place in fashion? Do you personally consider them a luxury brand? Let me know why or why not. And if you own a Telfar bag, let me know how you like it. Doing this video kind of made me want to get one, and I own 0 purses, so maybe that should be my first. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you want to see from me next. Love you guys so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.